It is estimated that there is approximately 109 billion dead people as of 2022. That means that the dead outnumber the living by about 14 or 13 to 1. All that to say is, if there's a zombie apocalypse, we're pretty much screwed. There's a little fun fact, whether you call it a fun fact, I'll leave up to you. Zombies, I feel, there's nothing quite like them in horror. They're not some creature from like some faraway land, or not some like invisible entity. Specific monsters or horror villains have a particular motive, but with zombies there is no motive, just a primal drive to feed and to kill. And there have been countless zombies in fiction, Night of the Living Dead being a seminal piece of work. You can go back to Frankenstein, or more recent with The Walking Dead. And there are a couple that, I think are off the beaten track, not necessarily obscure, but I don't think gets talked about enough in the discussion of zombies, in my opinion. Those being the Headcrab Zombies from the Half-Life games, and the Borg from Star Trek. So in keeping with the spooky season, let's delve into these and look at why each one of these are terrifying. The little headcrabs from Half-Life are terrifying enough. What with them leaping at you with tremendous speed for their attack. Once attached to their victim's head, they control every part of their nervous system, essentially becoming a puppet. Unlike other zombies that have people turn due to a pathogen, the headcrab zombies are different, as they're a parasite moving from host to host. Once coupled, there's no way to get the headcrab off, at least not without killing the host. There was this point in Half-Life Alyx during the chapter Captivity, where you're navigating your way through what used to be a zoo, past the zombies, antlions and combine, when you come across this particular zombie. It's looking at the display of artwork that children did, presumably before the 7-hour war. Now it's all but confirmed that these zombies have some level of consciousness. If we play the screams of the zombies from Half-Life 2 backwards, you can hear them try and say something. And when we look at most of them, we see their chests open and their organs exposed, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say would hurt a fair bit. And to be honest, on my first playthrough, the fast headcrab zombies scared the absolute crap out of me. We see with the different zombie types how it affects the human body over time. If the person who the zombie was can feel stuff, do they feel themselves decaying? I know it's a morbid thought, but it's that kind of body horror that makes it really stick to you. So if the consciousness of the host is still there, then is this specific zombie remembering something? The uniform of the keys suggests that they worked at the zoo before the invasion. Maybe the artwork reminded them of a happier time. Throughout the games, I've been killing these zombies without second thoughts. After all, they wouldn't hesitate to kill me. But this little moment during my first playthrough really gave me pause for thought. On the one hand, I don't exactly want to be killing these people. On the other, if they're in so much pain and can't control themselves, would I be doing them a favour? So I did the kindest thing I could think of. And what's great is that these zombies aren't even the main enemies. The Half-Life games aren't zombie games. The Combine, the main enemies, are this malevolent force. The Zen creatures are animals that just do what they have to survive. But the zombies are something else. In fact, the Combine even use headcrabs as a biological weapon, launching them into populated areas in canisters before releasing them among a population. We see the aftermath of these types of attacks in Ravenholm. For me personally, I'm not much of a gamer, but playing these, I definitely feel the difference between playing the game and, say, watching a film. The interactivity you have in the world is something that I think film and TV just can't replicate. And now let's look at Star Trek. There aren't zombies per se, but the closest, the most prevalent ones we have, I'd say, are the Borg. The Borg are a mixture of organic beings and cybernetic components, and all members have a shared collective consciousness, and they have a relentless drive to assimilate as much technology and as many individuals as possible. Entire species have been wiped out because of them. The film Star Trek First Contact sells itself as being a time travel / alien invasion movie, but it should also be billed as a zombie movie. The Enterprise follows the Borg after their Plan A invasion is thwarted. They go back in time, to the point where humans establish first contact with another alien race. Throughout the movie, the Borg take over half of the Enterprise. The once pristine and sleek corridors now covered with Borg technology, spreading like an infection. The crew attempt to stop them, but they keep coming and coming. They're relentless with a singular drive. Even if their numbers are severely diminished, they will still come back, only stronger with the knowledge of how to adapt to those attacks. Starfleet officers get off at best a couple of shots each before the drones adapt to their weapons. We also see them assimilate various members of the crew, their arms and eyes being replaced, not just stripped to their individuality physically, but mentally as well, which is arguably more terrifying. In the TNG two-part episode The Best of Both Worlds, the Borg tried to invade Earth for the first time. On the way, they captured Captain Picard and assimilate him, not only to have a well-known and well-respected officer's face be the front for the invasion, probably demoralizing Starfleet's forces, but also to know everything that he knows tactically. With Picard assimilated, they managed to cut through Starfleet's defences with ease, wiping out 39 ships and 11,000 people at Wall 359. Riker managed to stop the Borg with some out-the-box thinking, as he knew Picard would anticipate his next move, but not before capturing Picard and eventually deborgifying him. But the horrifying thing is, he was aware of and remembered everything, but he was helpless to do anything about it. And let's look at the implications here. Like, he is essentially locked inside his own head and only able to observe everything that he's doing, and his body essentially being used to kill a load of his colleagues, and he's unable to do anything about it, being forced to do something absolutely terrible. It's not just your body, but your mind, a place where we often take for granted how private that place actually is. It's been invaded and violated. No wonder Picard has trauma, and if we skip forward to first contact, we see that trauma bubble up to the surface. He can now hear their voices, but he's also so uniquely qualified to fight them, and he knows their weaknesses. While retreating from their first attack, he sees a member of his crew slowly and painfully be assimilated. He begs for his life, asking the captain to help, but instead he shoots him dead, which on the surface seems a bit brutal and cruel. But thinking back to that encounter I had with that headcrab zombie, I think I get it. He wouldn't wish that on anyone, so maybe it was really the kindest thing he could do. This film really helped to solidify the Borg as a standout villain in Star Trek, so much so that they made an appearance in Voyager, Enterprise, Prodigy and Picard. Although as they went on, there was less of a zombie-like portrayal, and they were seeing more of a perversion of technology and the dangers of losing our individuality. For a 12-rated film, and for Star Trek, it was pretty scary, at least for 9-year-old me. So this film has a special, nostalgic place in my heart. Both Half-Life and Star Trek aren't necessarily horror, but they do have their scary moments. They lure you in, they put you into a nice sense of security, and then bang! They scare you, and arguably that is way more effective than having something be an outright horror. If you're not expecting it, it's going to hit you a lot harder. We as humans fear death. It's a natural thing. We have our survival instincts. So if we see a dead body, we have that feeling of disgust and being disturbed. And those feelings are supposed to drive us to, get away from that place, get away from that person. If there's something in that environment that can kill a human, we obviously don't want to be in that environment for the sake of our own survival. And the disgust we have to rotting flesh is also a survival instinct. Rotting flesh is more likely to be poisonous or have diseases. Again, best to avoid. But zombies don't just exploit our fears of danger or disease. It's about losing control and becoming something else from the inside out. In a way, that's worse than dying. And on that note, I'll leave you be. Do you have any other favourite zombies or underrated zombies you think are worth a mention? Please let me know down below. Thank you very much for watching, people. If you like what you see, please subscribe, and I'll see you later.